Welcome, everybody. We're back. The barrel selection. Ryan, I feel like it's been a while since we did one of these.
Yeah, I know. And like every time we do these, I'm like, what is the intro going to be? And every time I'm just like amazed. Like that was amazing with all the glitz and glamour at the end.
I'd like to say that I spent a ton of time doing video editing and graphic design to do it. No, I mean, I found a website. You just plop a logo in there and it does it all for you. And I just download it. So.
Like, here's $10. Do our intros.
Pretty much. It makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, I love it.
So before we kind of get it kicked off, I want to say welcome everybody to the stream. We've got a little bit over 55 people here viewing live. So tonight we're going to be doing a barrel selection of Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. You know, we have actually selected a barrel. It was last year, and we were talking about it before we actually started. And you know, you go down to Lynchburg, Tennessee. It's its own little tiny, I guess, world. I guess you could say right there. Like you live in. I don't want to say it's a bubble. It's not a bubble, but you definitely have this like. It's not even a small town vibe. It's like a village vibe. I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, it's like a town of like 100, and they all work at Jack Daniel's, and none of them have left that city. They're like, you can't leave. You got to come here. Yeah, it's like the Truman Show,
something
tied into a Hallmark movie. You know, so no, it's pretty cool. You know, it's I remember, you know, sitting there with Goose, and good God, what a character he was. I mean, that was a real treat. He had some great stories. But yeah, that whole town's just interesting. It's bringing back memories, and I was happy to be there, but I was happy to leave too.
Yeah, and it was you know, you mentioned Goose, and before we started, we were actually talking about our last barrel pick that we did, and this is an example of what it was. It was the Jack Daniel's single barrel that we did. It was called Goose's Lightning. This one came in at 132.3 proof. So it's up there. Like, we're super excited because these are, I got turned on to them by following some hype in the Facebook groups where people were starting to do it. And I was like, am I really a Jack Daniel's person? And we tried it and we're like, okay, I guess I'm a Jack Daniel's person after all. Like, I can get behind this. It's stellar stuff. And
yeah,
so
it's really good.
Before we introduce everybody else that's also here, also to kind of give a plug that the people that you do see here, these are people that help support the podcast for Bourbon Pursuit. So you can go check it out, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit. We also have, this is part of our private barrel club. You can go to bourbonpursuit.com. There'll be a link at the very top where it says Private Barrel Club. And I have done my best to put as much information out there as well as all the FAQs so you can understand exactly how tiers work and how shipping works and, you know, I don't want to say taxes, but literally anything that comes to getting bottles in your hands. Did my best to try to put that information out there for you. So go and check that out if you haven't yet. So let's go ahead, and I want to introduce some of the people that have joined with us here today. And I'm going to start over here on my, this way. Camera's all mirrored. So over this way, past Ryan, over at Ben. So Ben, go ahead and introduce yourself. And, you know, this is something that we did for the podcast last season. I'm debating whether we do it again, is starting with a random icebreaker. So we're going to do it today, and then we're going to kind of evaluate if we're going to keep doing this again for the next round of it. But Ben, your first and your random icebreaker is, what was the first CD that you ever received or purchased?
Oh, wow. Oh, first CD. Well, my name is Ben Grace. I'm over here in Boise, Idaho. First CD. Nice. I think it was a Pearl Jam CD. I'd have to say Pearl Jam back in the late 90s.
That's a lot cooler than mine. Ryan, what about yours? Do you remember what yours was?
Me?
Yeah, you. I don't. What other Ryan am I talking to?
I don't know. I guess there is nobody Ryan here. Their names are out there. My bad. Man, I'm trying to think. I think the first one I bought myself, and then my parents tore it up, was Rage Against the Machine. Like, I bought it, and then they listened to it, and they like broke it in my face. They're like, you can't listen to this stuff. There's curse words and talking about guerrilla warfare and whatever.
But you don't tell me what you do or whatever it was. I forget what it was, but yeah, this was sick stuff.
I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah, there we go. Cody knows it. Since Cody chimed in, I'm gonna let Cody go next.
Oh man. It definitely had explicit lyrics on it. If it was the first CD that I purchased, it was one of those. Probably Oh man, I can't even think.
Were you like a 90s rap or was it like a metal?
Oh
What was
man,
your-
yeah, it's probably like Tupac or something like that. One of the first ones that came out. It's funny. Maybe Regulators. Whoever did that.
Oh, Warren G for
Warren G.
sure.
Hey,
Warren G. Yes. Oh man, it's funny. People who know me now, and that song comes on randomly, and I'm like, every word I know it. I'm like,
I think me and you
That
could go in a
doesn't make any
rap battle against it. 213 will regulate.
Yeah.
All right, because Cody, I'm kind of there with you. I remember my first CD. It wasn't Regulators. I was younger than that, but mine was Shaq Diesel.
Oh gosh.
That was the first CD I ever owned. I think I requested that for Christmas one year from my parents.
Man,
they gave it to you. That's awesome.
How about it?
What was that song he sang? I remember that.
I don't even remember what it
It
was.
was like him and Skilo had a song out at the same time.
I think my second one was like House of Pain. Remember, like Jump Around?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's All right, Wes, you're up next, buddy.
Yeah, I'm Wes Harden. I live here in Louisville, Kentucky. My first CD, I can't remember which one was first. It was either Beastie Boys' "License to Ill" or it was Eazy-E, his original CD. I don't remember which one I purchased first, but they were right on top of each other. But those would have been the first two for sure.
Oh man, bring it back with the
Easy
easy right
I
there.
love
right.
Easy. Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, I mean, what was the movie that came out? It wasn't NWA.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta
Straight Outta
Compton.
Compton,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, that was a stellar movie. I mean, you watch that and you're just like, oh shit, I remember all these
Yep,
jams.
absolutely.
That was his son, right? That played him.
Ice Cube's son, yeah.
Ice Cube.
Or Ice
Yeah.
Cube's son. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks just like him.
I know.
All right, Jeremy, are you a '90s rap
No,
child here? Or
Right.
are you a rock person like Ben over here?
I'm definitely more of a child of the '80s and that rock. I'm pretty sure my first CD was Guns N' Roses, "Appetite for Destruction."
Nice.
It definitely wore out "Sweet Child of Mine," that's for sure.
See, Jeremy and Ben, your choices aged very well. Like you're like, oh, you could still go out and buy those CDs. That's perfect. Like now, for a lot of us, we're like, I don't think so.
Shaq Diesel, definitely not. You have the worst out of everyone.
I can't remember. I can't remember this like his most popular song back then. Oh man. All right, so we had kind of started a little bit earlier, so we were drinking some of our original Jack Daniel's barrel proof here, but tonight we have got 3 additional barrel samples here, and so everybody has them labeled 1, 2, and 3, and I have the same exact things on mine here, number 1, and everybody's got the same exact amount. I think we're just around like 2 ounces or just a little bit shy of 2 ounces in each one of them. So
If they're all 130, that's all we need.
yeah, that's true. Actually, none of them have the proof on here, so it's just going to be whatever
Good
shows
luck.
up, shows up. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start pouring in my Glens over here, 1, 2, 3. And then I actually pulled out my Jack Daniel's single barrel Glen that we had done from the last time there that they let us keep.
I don't know what I did with mine. Must have left it in Nashville.
So as I was prepping for this, I got my Heaven Hill Glencairns, but I realized I only have 2 Glencairns, so I got a beer sample glass in my other one.
It'll work. It'll all burn going down, so you're fine.
It'll be the same result.
No, I'm just kidding. It won't burn
That's
too
what-
bad.
I went to Cox's Smokers today, and I bought some like Aperol, 3 Proseccos, and like 4 cases of High Noons. And she's like, yeah, if you're into bourbon, we're having this great raffle. And I was like, no, as you can see from my purchases, I like the light stuff,
Were you wearing a Pursuit shirt by any chance?
No, I was in Go Green stuff. But, I felt like such a turd walking out with all that stuff.
That's
For the
okay.
females.
Hopefully they don't know you there too well.
They don't.
All right. Well, so I know Wes and Cody have been on barrel selections with us before. Jeremy or Ben, have you y'all done barrel selections in the past or anything?
I have not.
Yeah, this is my first selection. I've tasted a lot, but this is my first one.
Oh, there
Very
you
nice.
go. As Ryan would say, this is your baptism.
It's life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's Jeremy before a barrel pick, and there's Jeremy after.
It's looking to grow. I mean, up here in New York, Western New York area, a friend of mine and I are trying to start our own barrel picking group. So this will give me some street cred.
You got to start somewhere.
Nothing like coming out the gate with a 130 proofer.
Yeah, who needs 93 proof? So for Ben and Jeremy and Wes and Cody, you all know the ropes. There's really no right or wrong way to kind of go about this. Typically, what I like to do is I'll pour all three of them. I'll go through, I'll nose each one of them individually, just to kind of start getting some of if you can find any flavors or nuances out of each one of them and kind of figure out what I like in the nose first. I do that typically because as soon as you go from nose and you just taste it right away, it kind of ruins a lot of the nose characteristics going back and forth to the next one, because a lot of these are going to be relatively similar. They're not going to be, at least I doubt they're going to be painstakingly different. But I could be wrong.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. But that's just my typical way I do it. But everybody kind of has their own method. So feel free to, however you think that you can analyze the bourbon, go ahead and do it.
There's no method to your madness. Well, I guess
that was my method to my madness.
That was your method.
It was.
I'm reading these instructions for this soda stream thing I got to do tomorrow. I'm like freaking out.
Oh yeah,
like, I don't know why I ever agreed to it. I'm like, what am I going to do on TikTok?
So that's, I'm thinking, this is gonna be Ryan's TikTok debut. So TikTok actually reached out, or SodaStream reached out to us on TikTok. They're like, hey, we love what you guys are doing. We'll send you all this free stuff if you do a TikTok featuring SodaStream and a recipe.
Yeah, we're like, we'll give you our D player, Ryan, who's never done TikTok.
Ryan's going to be out drinking a soda stream while he's push mowing one-armed.
Well, it's like, so I don't drink carbonated beverages like ever, except I guess it's a Kentucky crosswalk at Bourbon and Beyond, and drinking some Ale-8 every once in a while. But I never really drink carbonated beverages, and so I was just like, I'm not really gonna do it. I'm not really into it. But I know Ryan and his family, they love their soda stream, so I'll see if he wants to do it.
Yeah,
and he got suckered into it.
Well, I got some free cartridges out of it. Those damn things are like, during COVID, you couldn't even find them. It's like a black market.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, be things I didn't know about SodaStream.
Yeah.
And by the way, if anybody has questions, if you're watching live, feel free to put them in the chat. We can put them up on the screen, answer them for you as we go. Try to keep this community thing involved as much as we can.
How many people do we have watching tonight?
We are back down to 50, 49, 51. It fluctuates. It fluctuates.
It seems like the nose on number one is just a little bit lighter.
It is, yeah. It's kind of got like a. Oh, go ahead.
A little sweeter, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of get like the little, like nutty almond kind of thing, cherry, a little bit.
I get a hint of cherry or stone fruit. It's not super heavy. It's got a little bit of I get a little bit of licorice on the nose on one too.
Yeah. It's like the Goose Lightning one. It's like a banana bomb right on the nose.
Yeah.
Which I was expecting on this. It's nice that it's a little different, kind of getting like a cherry almond joy thing kind of going.
Cherry almond joy? Was that like a limited edition release they did back in the day or something?
Only for the holidays.
Are you being serious? Because I don't know when you're joking or not.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it should be a thing. They should probably do like an annual release or something.
It would be good. Cherry almond joys.
I'm just a fan of almond joys in general. So.
Yeah, I love almond joys.
To me, number 3 is like a cherry cola bomb.
On the nose, yeah.
I mean, it's very pronounced to me.
They're all, in my opinion, they're all pretty close though.
Yeah, I agree. Someone made the comment one had kind of a lighter nose to it. I do agree that 2 and 3 are pretty similar.
2, nothing's really like sticking out per se.
Let's see. So Desmond's asking, do we only taste test Jack Daniels? So what we're doing tonight is a barrel selection, and we're buying the entire barrel of Jack Daniels. This is going to be, I think, barrel 37 or 38 we bought this year, and we do it from all different distilleries, from Buffalo Trace, Four Roses, to Conic out of New York. I mean, you name it. We've touched a lot of different distilleries. You can actually go to our website, bourbonpursuit.com, click on the link for the private barrel program, and there will be another link that will take you to the spreadsheet that'll show you all the barrels that we've done for this year and what we still have coming and what you can still purchase. So we got another drop happening, big drop happening next week. 6 barrels happening next week.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. All at one time too. So
Better clear out some room.
or raise your credit card limits, one or the other.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, 2 and 3. I get that just cola syrupy kind of note.
It's, to me, it's the number 3 cherry cola to the 10th degree on the nose.
That I get a little like confection sugar,
Yeah.
Very
maybe a
sweet.
little maple syrup. On
Number
3.
2 has a heavy cherry, but it has a bit of a vanilla, like cream sweetness to go with it. It's not to me. It doesn't have that cola portion of it.
They all smell pretty good.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. There's something about one, though. There's like some kind of almond note or something I like on one.
Yeah, there's just something that's a little less in the very prominent, I guess, notes on the other 2 that allows a little more to come through on one, maybe.
Yeah. And like one's a little lighter too, so it's not as like blow up in your face.
Right.
From the noses, I bet they taste good. Oh yeah. There's that fire. There's that lightning. That Lynchburg lightning.
Mm-hmm. I did something different. I tried actually starting on 2 instead of starting on 1. Because I always tend to do that. Like I'll start 1 to go all the way through. And you always like try to put 1 as like, okay, that's the bar. What can we go against?
Well, I started with 1 and super dry.
Yeah.
Like pulls the moisture out of your mouth.
Yeah, I get a lot of cinnamon on that one.
But it's good. It's good.
Yeah, a ton of dried. That licorice note really kind of starts to pop on it, especially on the finish. It just kind of sits there. It's kind of got that licoricey, whatever licorice is made out of. What is licorice made out of? Crap.
It's like
it's just like leftover candy. It's been recycled for 3 years.
Sugar and chemicals.
Uranus.
like a botanical, isn't it?
Yeah, some kind of aromatic or something.
Yeah, it's
So E-Raw 3600 asks, do we ever walk away from a barrel pick without choosing one? I have before, but not with Pursuit. And you'll find out when you go to a lot of different distilleries. And typically what we do is we kind of vet everything first. We kind of know going into it, we're not going to walk away from something. If you go to like, Heaven Hill for Elijah Craig or Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof or Four Roses, like, you're going to find something you like. The teams there that actually go and Buffalo Trace for sure, the teams that actually spend the time going through and selecting barrels that go into the single barrel program, like they're not just, like putting, stickers on barrels and rolling them out and saying like this one, that one, whatever. I mean, they spend some time and they taste the barrels and they determine which ones will be good for the single barrel program. So it's very rare that you'll walk away from something. And I've only heard of a handful of groups that have done it. When you know that you're going into something that's kind of unknown. So. Hopefully that answers the question.
Like 2 is kind of, it's like a real acidic or highly carbonated cream cola type thing.
Carbonation, huh? I didn't get any carbonation on it.
Well, you know what I mean. You know, like a Coke that burns, like that
See,
acid.
You got to get that soda stream off your mind, man. We got to get rid of
See,
it.
I think so too.
I thought number 2 was a lot lighter on the spice in the finish.
Mm-hmm.
It almost has like a cherry syrup, like a Luden's cough drop taste to it to me.
I mean, I hit it before you all did, and I wrote Pepsi.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cherry cola.
Yeah, it's definitely a cola thing.
Just to show everybody. So like, and most of the time when we're doing these Jack Daniel's barrel selections, they're around 6 years in age. So there's not a whole lot of things at Jack Daniel's that are older than 6 years. They rotate stock out and bottle it and get it out the door relatively quickly.
Yeah, I noticed in my glass, it looks like comparing the 3, 2's darker than the other 2.
Let's see, I'll put one.
Or I just poured more in that glass than I did the other 2.
Or you got a nice dark background for it. Yeah, it's like
Maybe so.
1 and 2 are pretty comparable right there.
Yeah, it's like when you drink a Coke really fast and it like burns kind of almost.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me
Comes out
of.
your nose.
Yeah. Like
But in a good way.
But in a good way, yeah.
The old nose cola in a good way.
Makes me want to chug more.
Ugh. It's weird. To me, number 3 is almost like a balance of 1 and 2. It's got some of that cherry, but it's got a little bit of that spice on the end that 1 had, but not as heavy.
Ooh, yeah.
But I don't get as much of that cola on the finish as number 2 had. It seems like it's almost like if you took 1 and 2 and mixed those together.
Three almost has like
Three's
another layer to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1
I
and
get
2
nutty,
are like
a nuttiness to 3.
Yeah.
Just me.
1 and 2 are like pretty strong and like sharp flavors. This one kind of like develops a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot more balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of trying to wrap my head around it.
The acid that you were talking about at number 2, you don't really get on number 3 either. Like I was getting that on number 2.
Say that again now. What are you getting on 3 or which one?
Well, the acid that you get in the finish on number 2, I'm not picking up on number 3. It's a lot gentler on the finish. It keeps me coming back to number 3.
Yeah, it's like really nice. It kind of starts off kind of chocolatey, then like a little nutty, almondy, then the dried fruit cherry kind of thing, spice on the finish. It progresses nicely.
All right, now I got to go back to 2. Glad we got enough whiskey for all. Honestly, I think we got more whiskey here in these samples than we actually got when we were actually there at Jack Daniel's. Do you remember that, Ryan?
Oh, wow.
No, that's a lie.
You really don't think so?
Yeah,
He doesn't remember.
Well, I guess you could go back and refill as many times as
we
you
went
want,
through.
but-
Yeah, we went through twice.
Oh yeah, Never
Somebody
mind.
almost didn't make it home.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful on those.
Especially with
Make
this
it-
proof.
You make a 4-hour drive and you're drinking 130 plus proof, making 2 go arounds. Adds up quickly.
Keep it under 100, you're fine.
That's right.
I like the finish on number 3 a lot better. It had better mouthfeel to begin with. It wasn't as dry to start out with.
And after 2 and 3, going back to 1, that dryness, man, it just sucks all the moisture right out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to the cotton ball, see what I think.
There's the name. Cotton Ball.
So Rod's asking, is a pick usually limited to 3 barrels? It depends on the distillery. For Jack Daniel's Pale Proof, yeah, it's typically limited to 3 barrels. You choose one. I think, and I kind of spilled the beans to Cody a little bit when I met him earlier this week to get some samples to him. I asked to see if we could get 2 of these, and they're going to work their best to see if we can get 2 of them if we like 2 of them. So we just have to put our first one that we're going to get, and then we're going to try to stake our claim on a second one. But it just depends on what distillery you go to and what their barrel program's like. A lot of times it's around 3 to 5 barrels. You go to Four Roses, you can have from 7 to 10. It just depends on the distillery.
The bigger the distillery, the less the barrels.
Pretty much. It's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heaven Hill, always 3. Buffalo Trace, usually 3.
Beam or Knob Creek's 3.
You go to Willett, you just walk around with a drill and start hitting barrels until you find one you like. So
Same at
you go with the Pursuit. You go with the Pursuit series, and you come with us. You can chase to like 40 or 50.
Yep.
Sign me up.
You better keep it under 80 after that one.
Man. I mean, for me, there's like a clear favorite. But
That's what
You're right though. That chocolatey note.
the one I'm not terribly turned off by one.
no,
I
not
think
at all.
I think it definitely has it's definitely a lot more spice going on, and I think the dryness might have something to do with it. Or maybe Cody just put that in my head that it's super dry.
The dryness just makes me want to drink it more.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like a big tannicky red wine. You're like, and you just want to drink more because
It reminds me of like a port finish, like you get that real dry, abrupt ending. That's what it reminds me of.
Tanya's port,
Yeah,
Tawny, whatever it is.
Tanya's port. It's the barrel name, Tanya's port.
I mean, in my mind, I think there's a clear loser, if you will. I mean, I hate to use that word, but there's definitely one that I don't enjoy as much as the other two. But
Is it in the beer mug?
maybe
It's the glass's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'd say save whichever ones you really like or you dislike for here in a little bit, and we'll start doing elimination or choosing our favorites here towards the end. So let you go back and continue sampling until you feel like you've sampled enough. I mean, there's something about like number 2. I don't know if I think it's acidic. I think there's definitely a different taste where it's like, and I don't know why I equate it to like something like brightness, but like it definitely like there's something that just like is different about it.
It's very sharp.
Yeah,
I think to me the nose is so much a cherry bomb. It's almost like that. There's obviously different kinds of cherries. If you get those red cherries in the spring when they first come out, they're not like the ripest, and they have a bit of a tannic taste at the very end, almost like a grape that's not ripe. It's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, or an unripe banana or something like that. Yeah.
Or
For
grappa.
sure, like a super green banana.
Kind of reminds me of grappa. It's like
I don't know if I've ever had grappa.
it's actually it does not remind me. Grappa is terrible. This is not terrible. I remember I was in Italy and they're like, you go there and you have great wines, then great limoncellos, and this one guy's like, "Oh, you haven't had grappa yet? Oh, it's way better than all those." And we're like, "Yeah, give it to me." Then you take it, and you're like, the sprinklers go off. You're about to like throw up because it's so intense.
Sprinklers. I just know that feeling when your jaw just starts
Right.
like, yeah.
It's like if you take a big shot of tequila or something, you're like, "Oh God, it's coming up."
That's never fun.
No.
There's probably some psychology expert out there. It's like, just say this, and then the group will just follow you. You know what I mean? Say the first one's dry, the third one's sweet, and everyone will like the second one.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that's analyzing this as we go.
Lovely. Can we just buy 3?
Like all 3?
Mm-hmm.
Or the number 3.
I don't think they're going to give us all 3.
All 3, of course.
No, unfortunately.
No, they won't.
They have standards on who they sell these barrels to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a podcast with at least 30 listeners. No, I think this, along with pretty much a lot of barrels that come from major distilleries, everything works off of allocation. And so, also shout out to Keg and Bottle out of San Diego area. They are our retail partner, and they make it all possible that we do all of these barrel selections. So we run everything through them. So if you're wondering exactly how do I get my hands on these bottles, well, we'll end up sending you private hidden links to their website. You go, you check out, all of a sudden it shows up on your doorstep with about 40 pounds of bubble wrap around it, and you save yourself a trip to the liquor store.
Absolutely bomb-proof packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They wrap it so much that like I don't even want to open them. I'm like, it's so much work.
Yeah, you gotta take a knife and like cut the bottom. And
Yeah. I'm like looking at them now. I'm like, gosh, it's so hard to open. But I'm thankful because the bottles always show up safely.
That's true. So here's another question. What's your favorite distillery to do a barrel pick at, and why?
Well,
Wes,
go ahead.
Cody, what about you all? I mean, you've done these now, so
Yeah, it's a toss-up. To me, it's a toss-up between Wild Turkey and Four Roses. Four Roses, mainly because it's a combination of probably collectively, I like Four Roses products collectively probably better than any other distillery, and they roll out anywhere from 8 to 10 barrels. So you've got typically a good choice of the different mash bill and the different yeast strain combinations, and it's just a cool experience. Wild Turkey, I like it because it's in the rick house, which is kind of the best scenario. And they, the 2 that I've been on, none with you guys, but I have been on 2, is they've rolled out up to 10 or 12 barrels. It just depends on if you're there with Eddie or someone, or even if you're not, they just roll out a large amount of barrels, and it's hard to go to one of those distilleries and they roll out that many barrels and not leave with 1 or 2. Like it's kind of impossible. But when you go to some place and they only roll out 2 or 3, if you just want to pick just to have a pick, then yeah, you can leave with a barrel. But if you want to pick that's unique and people are going to say, hey, that was an amazing pick, then your odds are a little bit slimmer when they roll out 3 or 4 barrels.
for sure. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean,
Yeah.
doing a barrel pick with Eddie Russell is it's a fun time because I think he's probably one of the most laid back people. It's like you take it serious but not too serious, and you're just there to have fun, drink whiskey, select a barrel, and he'll call you a pussy if you don't use the hammer and hit the bung out hard enough. And we're just like, well, where's like the thing you just screw and pop it out, because I don't feel like swinging a hammer today. And yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last one was the Knob Creek Rye, and this one is better because that one was so cold standing outside of that.
I remember.
That was brutal. Everything was. I was holding the Glencairn, or the little glass they gave us, inside my coat, trying to warm it up a little bit, trying to get a little bit more flavor out of it. But it was still a great experience. There's something about walking into the rick house and seeing the barrels and all that it does change the vibe.
Yeah, and I guess the tough thing, and thankfully we're here able to taste this at room temperature and be able to do it. When you actually are in the warehouse, whether you're doing Wild Turkey or you're at Knob Creek or wherever, and it's this time of the year and you go out there and it's 30, 40 degrees, it's hard to taste a lot of the nuances between them. But sometimes it actually is probably better than being in there in the middle of July or August when it's 100 degrees. So pick your poison, if you will. You can't always go there in the middle of May.
Yeah. You
could probably set that up though, right?
We can try. We're at the mercy of everybody else. Like we don't get to pick and choose where we want to go. Like we're begging like everybody else to get in places. So
yeah, we've never had to beg so hard to people to sell us shit. Like, please sell me something. You're like, what?
It's a weird industry. It really is.
It is. I like the Woodinville one because you got to do a red eye to Seattle, and then go drink 3 barrels, then come. Or I don't know how many we drank that day, but we didn't even need to drink that many because they were all so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But Willet's always fun because but they don't happen much anymore. You go in there and drill them. But like Wes said, you can't beat Four Roses, and Four Roses is cool because they are all true single barrels because they're all different recipes. So for the most part, so you can kind of get something very unique every time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Four Roses would be really cool. I'd like to do something like that, but this is my best barrel selection experience. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, Ben, come on, chime in.
So far, this is the best one I've ever had. So.
It only goes
We're here to make dreams come true as well. By the way, that's part of Bourbon Pursuit's mission.
It's funny because we got delayed a day. I set everything up with the wife and the kids and everything, and my wife goes, "What? They're changing it? No, you're pouring those 3 in these 3 glasses. I'm trying them. I'm doing my own." So I had to sacrifice just a little bit of each one. And she's like, "Try it." And I'm like, "No, I have to wait till tomorrow."
That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry about that. Never trust New York State U.S. Postal Service.
What was weird, it was just like, I sent it the usual shipping method I usually do, and it said like, guaranteed be there like by Monday. I was like, oh, perfect. And then it didn't show up. But
they just didn't tell you which. They didn't tell you which Monday. That's the difference.
There you go. There you go. I guess it could be worse. I ended up waiting for something for like 14 days in the postal service, but it finally showed up. But I was just like, don't blame COVID anymore. Get that shit out of the way. Just start getting the mail rolling.
I don't know if it's the 130 proof, but like I definitely love 3, but now I'm like drinking the other 2 and I'm like, well, they're damn good too.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the longer it sits here, 2 to me has by far the best nose. As it's sitting here, I'm starting to get some burnt sugar, like fried fruit pie out of the nose on that one.
Fruit pies. You're like Fred. Fred always likes to pull out like the old McDonald's apple pie out of the out of his Rolodex of things to talk about. When
he says cornbread a lot too.
Just cornbread.
It is hard though. To be fair, it's hard to come up with new notes when you're doing this shit. You're like,
there's only
so many flavors on the wheel you can pull from.
The old standby. I got a little vanilla, some caramel, oak.
No sweet oak, Kenny. Sorry.
Man, not on these ones. That's for sure.
No sweet oak on these.
To me, one just keeps getting better and better.
Really? Let me have to revisit that.
Yeah, I got to go back to it.
See if the power of suggestion works, Ryan.
Right. Yeah, don't listen to me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It could be the 130 proof kicking in. But I'm a sucker for dried fruit, and it's got a ton of them.
Me too. That's interesting.
Did anyone go back to Goose's Lightning to compare yet, or are we leaving that out?
Yeah, like 2.
Oh, that's a good call. We should probably do that.
2 just does not taste like a Jack Daniel's at all.
No, it doesn't. Like the more I go back to it, I'm just like it's a good
1
nose.
and 3 you're like, that's really good Jack Daniel's. 2 is like not Jack Daniel's tasting at all.
That's part of the intrigue with 2, I think, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't I was expecting more banana kind of basic, but two hit me with a huge cherry bomb. It's like a cherry syrup, but it's to me, it's very much one noted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Wes, I think you really did a good job figuring out like the whole like ripeness note to it, because it definitely has that sort of like green ripe banana note to it.
Yeah, it does. It's that it's that almost ripe but not ripe fruit. You could still eat it, but it kind of gives you that weird little
Real sharp kind of thing.
sharp, yeah, almost like not to the degree of a persimmon, which will make your lips pucker, but that real sharp. Like a persimmon is the most unripe of all fruits you could ever even like try to eat. But it's almost like when you get grapes and they're just not quite ripe enough and they give you that like little tannic taste to it. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you notice it. It's like, I mean, it calls attention to how different it is.
Yeah, I just went back to gooses and gooses are way different.
Yeah, Goose's nose is like banana runts all day.
Yeah, I still say number 3 is the most balanced.
One's my favorite nose. 3's my favorite palate.
Ryan, the power suggestion. Hold it till the end, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
The real power.
I think we're all leaning in the same direction, so it's not going to be like something super surprising.
There's just something different about that nose on one.
Yeah, I love the
Definitely.
nose one.
Definitely.
And the more I drink one, the more I like it.
It seems to, as it's set in the glass, it seemed to some of that heavy spice on the finish has started to tame itself down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That or the 130s just fried my palate, and
that's okay too.
And that's okay too.
I'm gonna say like on one, I almost get like a little bit of a. I don't know if it's because we've gone back to it like 10 times now, but like a little bit like a rye bread.
Yeah. The more I go back to one, the more it reminds me of the high rye bourbon from like Wilderness Trail. Some of the 5-year high rye bourbon.
Thanks for bringing that up, Wes. So if anybody didn't know, we've got a new barrel drop happening next week, where we actually drop 2 barrels at Wilderness Trail. So make sure you sign up for Patreon to get in on that.
Nice segue.
There you go. Just tee me up. I'll knock them out.
You know, one I was really surprised with was the Driftless Blend.
I'll tell you what, there's actually still bottles available too. The rye
that
I thought was
amazing.
fantastic. And the bourbon's great. Like it's got this like earthy character to it, but the rye was just something that I don't think anybody's ever. I mean, it's just super unique.
I would say the most unique bottle I've had from you guys, as far as barrel picks outside of the major Kentucky distilleries, is probably the Finger Lakes.
Yeah,
with Pursuit.
Yeah, we're big on them. They're good people.
Good. They're really good.
Yeah, we like their stuff a lot.
That's good.
All right, go back to 3. I'm going to do 3 against Goose's Lightning and see what we got here.
Goose on the loose.
The nose on 3s I think is better. I think it's a little bit less astringent. Like not astringent, just doesn't have as much alcohol vapor going on.
The thing that cracks me up about these are these like No Limit Soldier, like gold chains on them.
Yeah. That's the bling. That's bourbon bling.
Yeah.
I like how you just keep bringing up. Everything comes back to 90s rap.
Yeah, that's right.
And
I just can't believe, some people, I only drink, Kentucky or whatever, and there's whiskey like this out there.
Yeah, it's obviously there's more distilleries and more volume out of Kentucky, but there's some good up and coming craft stuff in other areas.
Yeah, I never thought I would be doing a Jack Daniel's pick, but these don't taste like Jack Daniel's.
Oh, we got a hater in the chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eric's actually he's a good Patreon member of ours as well. But yeah, it is true. When you go to Buffalo Trace, and you got 3 barrels there. Odds are 2 of the barrels are left over from the last group.
So it's funny you said that. The last 4 roses, or the last one I was on with you guys back in, God, what was it, September, October last year, when Al was still there. I kept the sheet of the 9 or 10 barrels that they wrote out for us. I took a picture of that sheet just for reference. There was another group that did a barrel pick a few weeks from that, and one of the barrels they picked, we had ranked it as like one of the bottom barrels that didn't even make it to the first round of cuts. So it just goes to show you that depending on who you've got, and what day they're there, and what their palate, and what they taste, and the power of suggestion, like someone's throwaway is someone's best barrel and vice versa. But yeah, there was at the exact barrel, same code, recipe, age, the whole 9 yards. We had passed on it. It didn't even make the first cut, and they had chosen it as their barrel to do. I did not buy one.
I guess we got lucky. That's all I can say. We got lucky that day. We had
Ryan there. Ryan kept us on course.
That's right.
Had that.
What happened? I think it was on that. Was it Buffalo Trace last year? Like me and you split up the barrel picks. We went first, and then you all got we were like, please pick the rejects, but you didn't.
No, we didn't pick the reject.
Yeah. We were hoping so much that you would.
I know. Can we get a 90s wrap sticker? Sure, why not? I think No Limit Soldiers is kind of going to go well with this one.
Oh, it fits with the bottle. I mean,
make them say,
Yep.
Shem asked, any word on barrel proof rye? So I'll pull the bottle here in a second. Last time we were actually down in Lynchburg doing our barrel selection. They have their barrel proof rye available in the gift shop as a gift shop only purchase. It comes in 375s, and it's phenomenal. I mean, it's really, really good stuff. And they had just announced that they are going to go nationwide with a barrel proof rye, like, I guess, on the shelf offering. I have no idea if they're going to be doing a single barrel selection though. So just have to wait and get in line like everybody else.
I think it was like a couple weeks ago. I was texting you and Blake. I'd like found the 375 like tucked behind a bunch of bottles, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I was like, "This rye is some of the best rye out there."
Oh, really?
It's so good.
I think they know what they're doing there.
Yeah,
in Lynchburg. So
that's all they know to do.
Oh man, that made me laugh way too hard. Oh, that's not a slam on y'all. Sorry, Lynchburg. Oh man.
Oh, no more Jack Daniels barrels for us.
Yeah, I know.
You better buy all 3.
Sorry.
I guess I shouldn't have laughed too hard. Maybe that's what gave it away.
I did like Bobos or whatever.
Mary Bobos, yeah.
I think I kept going back with number 3 the most. I know there's very little left of number 3, and then 1's next.
Yeah, I think we could probably move it to a vote here.
Okay.
All in favor of 3, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that was easy. I figured we were kind of all on board with number 3. Unless, Ben or Jeremy, if you have some, or, Wes or Cody, some totally opposing you want to throw out there, feel free to throw it out there. This is a consensus. This is a democracy. It's not a dictatorship. But
number 1's a close second, but I 3 was good for me.
I think what we'll try to do is we'll put number 1 as our favorite, or sorry, number 3 is our favorite. Yeah, we don't want to do that one. And then we'll put number 1 as our number 2, and we'll see if we can get that barrel as well. And we'll have to try to figure out if we do matching 90s wrap stickers on both of them.
Well, either that, or if you get the second barrel, you could do like a mini-me theme, and you could make it, we called it number 2. That as well from Austin Powers.
Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah.
Or you could do 1 be the 90s rap, 1 be the 90s grunge.
There you go.
That seemed to be like the theme.
Yeah, that's true. You could get Pearl Jam sticker or something like that too.
Here.
Well, I'm going to kind of go back to Goose's Lightning and compare it to number 3, just so we give some folks an idea of what they're getting themselves into.
Number 3, which is number 1.
Yes, number 3, which is number 1. We're not going to get that confused. And by the way, I'll also put some details out here. Honestly, it doesn't really mean much because this is just internal mumbo jumbo on here. But the lot that we chose is 15G22, number 30.
Oh boy.
Yep, that's all it really means. So it's there's the whatever the 2637 number. I don't even know what that means, but that's what is on the bottle.
Sounds scientific.
It sounds as good as a I guess a barcode system, if you will. But
I mean, Silk the Shocker.
Our bourbon club really liked the Goose's Lightning, as you can tell. It's a little empty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess the next thing is, can we name all the people within inside of the
No Limit.
Limit Soldiers? You had that. Was it started with like an X or a Z or something like that?
Oh, yeah, there was Mystical.
Mystical. All right. I've got to Google it. I've got to Google it now.
There was Mystical, Silk the Shocker, or Master P, obviously.
True.
Yep, true.
Of course, they have a Wikipedia entry, so it's got to be inside there.
It's got to be factual too.
Yeah, so, like, why would they lie?
Master P sponsors some lawyer here in town, Wes. It's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, he's like, make him say, with going that he said.
It's not Hessig and Pole, is it?
Nope, not Hessig and Pole.
So
Even though they're good friends of mine.
yeah, the Pole guy is a bourbon guy too.
C Murder.
See Murder, that's right.
The murder.
There's all kinds of names on here. Like, I can't even go through. I'm just trying to like find the ones that I remember. I remember there's like one guy that screamed all the time. I can't remember who it was.
That was Mystical.
Is that who? Yeah, you're right. It was Mystical. Yeah, there it is. Cain and Abel, Trey 8.
Cain and Abel. What is wrong with us? Why do we listen to this crap?
I'd be pissed if my kids were listening to
Oh,
it.
totally. It's like, I'm like shitting on these kids that are on TikTok. Like, and I'm like, they're idiots. And then I'm like, here talking about No Limit Soldiers. I was like, well, maybe I was an idiot.
Very true. Very true.
Oh, we were definitely idiots, but just so that they don't have to be. They have to learn from our lessons.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
They could be different idiots.
Right on. All right, so I think we've come away with our winners tonight. So we've got number 3, which is our number 1, which is our number 2. We can't guarantee that we're going to get our number 2, but however, we are going to stick with number 3. Really looking forward to it. I owed a difference in like what's the difference between Goose's Lightning and this. I'll try to do it real quick. The nose on Goose's Lightning is a little more oak.
Goose's
Goose's
is like
Lightning is
so
really good.
fruity. It's so
It was.
fruity.
It was fruity. It was good though.
Yeah. It's like a bag of runts. Not just banana. A whole bag.
All of the runs.
All the runts. It's
This
a
new
little
one-
softer too.
I would say this new one is definitely a little bit more spice, a little more nuttiness, but still just as damn good.
Yeah.
Look at Brian Clark's over here throwing stuff out. Mystical, Master P, Mia X.
Yeah.
Mia X.
A lot of good stuff right there. All right, well, fellas, here, hang on one second. I'm going to close this out, and then we'll talk after we close the live stream. But I want to say thank you, everybody that tuned in. I mean, we're up to like 65 people at one point just to watch you guys sit around, drink barrel-proof Jack Daniels for a little while and choose a barrel. So thank you so much for tuning in for it. If you want to be on here with one of these guys, as well as Ryan and I, if you want to be one of these people, go ahead and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit. It is how we primarily fund and support the podcast. It is what we do. And you can join our private barrel club. It's all part of Patreon, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit. Be able to do that, or you go to bourbonpursuit.com and look for the barrel club link at the very top, and you'll be able to kind of get all the information out there, as well as all the barrels that we've selected, the barrels to come. And as I mentioned, in I think another week, not this week, next week, is we have 6 barrels dropping. We got 2 Wilderness Trails, a Jack Daniels rye, 2 Elijah Craig's, and a Larceny barrel, all happening next week.
Wow.
And I don't even think I mentioned it in a few emails, but I'm surprised. Like the Larceny barrel, Ryan, did you know how many bottles were in that? Did you see?
No.
90. Only 90
Wow.
bottles
In a Larceny barrel?
in a Larceny barrel.
Wow.
Dang.
Yes.
No wonder that one was good. It was a leaky barrel.
I know. That's what I was just like, holy shit.
That was the
So-
only barrel pick I panicked on. I'm like, the first 2, I'm like, they're bad. And then the third one was it was like outstanding, but I was panicked on the first 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So that was actually one of the ones that I pre-taste tested to make sure we're actually going to select a barrel before we had a barrel selection team, just to make sure that we were going to do it, because I've heard good and bad things about the Larceny barrel program. But that being said, we're super excited to be able to bring another Jack Daniel's barrel proof to the Private Barrel Club. And like as I said, this is like number 37 for the year, maybe number 36. If we could hit number 40, I think that'd be awesome. But, I'm not going to shoot for the moon. We're already getting towards the end of the year here. So we've got that. Plus, we've got Pursuit Series all happening, and Pursuit United going to be happening here towards the end of the year as well. So thank you, everybody, so much for sticking with us. So make sure you go check out those links to find out more. And, yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. Make sure you, open up something, share it with family, but not too much family. I guess that's what we should be saying nowadays. So
Only 8 family,
only 8 family members at the most. So,
depending which state you're in.
Kind of a plus, actually.
yeah, it's a weird.
For me, Kenny, Wes, and Cody, only 8 people.
Can't be doing that.
We can't be doing that. We can't be doing that. So enjoy your Zoom Thanksgivings, everybody. Until next time, cheers, and we'll let you know when the next barrel pick's coming. Take care.